The Russian army has massed around 1,200 tanks for a possible invasion of Ukraine. Its tanks include upgraded T-72, T-80, and T-90s. Across the border, the Ukrainian army has mobilized its own armor for a possible defensive campaign. Ukraine possesses some of the same tank models that Russia does, but Kiev's best tank, an updated T-64, is uniquely Ukrainian. If and when Russia overtly invades Ukraine and sharply escalates the 7-year, frozen conflict in eastern Ukraine, tanks on both sides will play key roles in offense and defense, helping to shape the battlefield so that the decisive force artillery can do its terrible work. First of all, on Ukrainian front, as said before, T-64 will be the main fighting platform, which is a Cold War oddity and designed by the Kharkiv tank factory. The 40-ton vehicle represented a huge improvement over existing T-55 and T-62 tanks when it entered service in the mid-1960s. T-64 introduced a number of advancements, including a new diesel engine. It also replaces the human loader with an automatic device for ramming shells into the breach, reducing the overall crew to just 3 people and saving weight. In Soviet-era T-64 was never exported, instead they preferred to sell cheaper, simpler T-55s, T-62s, and T-72s. Throughout the later decades of the Cold War, thousands of T-64s equipped Soviet armies, primed to wage apocalyptic tank war with American M1s, German Leopards, and British Challengers. Kiev initially struggled to maintain and upgrade its tank fleet. The government in 1999 began modernizing 1983 vintage T-64 BMs. The resulting T-64 BM Bulet boasts better reactive armor, a new gun, and a locally made night sight. Bulet production was slow. When Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014 and subsequently backed anti-government separatists in Ukraine's Donbass region, the Ukrainian army went to war mostly with the aged, 1985 vintage T-64 BVs in its inventory. Fewer than 100 bullets were available. The war was hard on the Ukrainian Armor Corps. The army last year revealed that 440 of its tanks were destroyed or damaged in Donbass between April 2014 and June 2016. Artillery, including rockets and mortars, accounted for most of the losses. Perhaps anticipating open warfare with the Russians, in 2017 Kiev got serious about upgrading its surviving tanks. The factory in Kharkiv began producing T-64 BV Model 2017s with improved night sights, satellite navigation systems, new radios, and better reactive armor. Today the Ukrainian Armor Corps possesses 410 old T-64 BVs, 210 BV Model 2017s, 100 T-64 BM bullets, and around 130 T-72s. Another 1,000 tanks are in storage. On the Russian side, its part held on to thousands of T-90s and upgraded T-72 tanks. Russia also possesses T-64s and T-80s, but their numbers steadily declined over the years. Today the Russian army has discarded most of the T-64 variants in favor of T-72 models, which are easier to build and maintain. The latest T-72 variant, the T-90, borrows some of the T-80's best features including the composite armor but retains the T-72's basic automotive systems. Currently, Russian tanks including T-72B3 and T-90A are far more advanced than Ukrainian tanks. Tanks are tools of wider combined arms operations including battalions maneuvering or digging in alongside infantry, all in order to position their supporting artillery for best effect. Planning, training, leadership, and discipline on the battlefield each is more important than the finer points of one piece of kit or another. Further, Ukrainian anti-tank missiles would be the major threat to Russian armor. Today all 3 of Ukraine's main ATGMs, the Stugna P, RK-3 Corsair, and Javelin boast tandem warheads. As a bonus, the Javelin also has a top attack mode, where it arcs up then dives down to hit a tank where its armor is thinnest. But their lethality mainly depends upon how effectively these weapons can be used, as from Soviet and Russian doctrine refined during the wars in Afghanistan and Chechnya, combining tanks with infantry in speedy BMP armored vehicles. The tanks breach enemy defenses while the infantry root out enemy anti-tank missiles crews to keep them from ambushing the tanks.